Hello and welcome to episode 188 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. It is Dex and Punk here for you today, following a win, Jake.
I don't know where that came from, but I don't care. We nearly
threw it away, and there was some controversy at the end, which we will talk about. But we do actually end the weekend with the Sheffield Wednesday win.
We end the weekend happy and not depressed. We can actually go into the week really well.
You know what the problem is now, though? I said it on the stream because I streamed that match. I said, I've just started growing my beard out again because I trimmed it and our form went off a cliff. So now we've won. Now I've started growing it out again. I guess I'm not shaving until after Christmas.
No, well, it's winter now. You need to have something to keep your face warm.
Well, that was actually my main thought process behind it as well. To be honest, I'm going to grow it out for winter, but it got too annoying in the summer. I was like, I don't like this. I'm getting rid.
Shall we start the podcast how we always do?
Yes. How's your week been, mate?
It's been interesting. I played a sugar ton of I need to say a different word then. Of EAFC, like I think everyone had done. But my God, for $1 billion company or whatever it is, $1 million company, they don't know how to mess it up on release date, did they?
Yeah, I know. I put a tweet out about that yesterday and I came back to like over 200 notifications from it. So I think people agree. Yeah. Absolutely mental that they're not prepared for a look. Because like obviously it launched. You could get on it in the day, but as soon as they did the update for the Ultimate Team at 6, obviously everybody's going on Ultimate Team. So the us who've been in early access since last week or whatever, we're coming in for the new promo, the first promo. So, and it's just, you can't get on.
No.
And I'm like, how have you not had excess servers ready for this? It's the same every year.
Yeah. Every year, it doesn't change, does it? It's like they go. It's also really weird that first little bit where you got the game, as somebody who gets it early because you paid £100 stupid to buy something early. It works so well and everything working, and then they give it out, and it's like they're not followed that patch through to the rest of it. Which is something that
I'm just
really
worried for the
me.
first patch that changes gameplay to get over people's complaints about it being too slow. It's not. It's good. Leave it.
If you want the slowness, put it on the simulation mode, because that is the like realistic version of it, and it plays really well.
I just think people want fast, catchy little gameplay where you can just constantly like speed trap people and play stuff like that. And what I'm finding is actually, I did some of the RTG last night with all the newbies coming in, but the problem is the newbies are coming in with their pre-order packs.
Yeah.
And all of all division rivals are just being flooded with people with like Lone Bellingham, Lone Haaland, all of this. And I'm like,
they're literally been a little bit like, I'm using everything now.
Yeah. Pretty much. So I've been going through trying to get because I did my squad battles last night. The RTG, I think I'll try and get up for Monday, so we can do squad battles, rewards, and everything in it as well, and give myself an actual Sunday because I've been doing FIFA content pretty much every day this week.
You've been busy, as they say.
But like, you what? Sorry,
you've been busy, as they say.
Yeah, no, it's been good in that regard.
I will say this week's been weird for us as a family because this has been the last week where our lass is on maternity leave. Her maternity leave is up Tuesday. She's back to full-time work. So we've been trying to get everything in place, everything sorted. So there's an idea if something does happen with me, there's something in place for the little one, and so on and so on. And I think it's really hit us like how fast this year's gone. The fact that she's now back at work. And we've only got like 3 months till the little ones are 7 and 1, which is insane when you think about it.
Yeah,
and it's just like you got to get ready for the ye old big word that I don't like using with the C. When it comes to everything, you've got to figure out where you're staying, whose house you're going to. People are starting to have that kind of conversation. what are you doing around that time? Whose house you going to? Which family member you doing? And for us this year, it's actually going to be quite nice because we are not actually going anywhere for once. For once, we've actually said we're staying where we are because we're a new family. We don't want to mess around with it. So it's been really nice, but it's also been really weird knowing that next week everything goes to normal, as they say, but it's not really normal.
I think you've got the perfect age between your kids as well, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of people say it's 4 years. Now, there's 4 years between me and my sister. We get on really, really well now. But, like, growing up, we didn't. Like, it was like we were too close in age to really get on. Whereas I think you've got the thing where your little one's going to grow up. She's growing up now and she sees the baby for a baby and she's going to be a bit older.
Well,
so she'll understand more.
When he starts school, she'll be in secondary school. She'll just be starting secondary school. So there's that good gap. And it was by design because we always said we never wanted to have kids who were either really close, like 2 under 2, or we didn't want to have a massive gap where one's hitting like they're an adult and one's in teenager. So we always wanted that.
A lot of people want to get it over and done with, you know, and I get that. Like I got a couple of nephews that like they're very close to each other, sort of thing. I think they're a couple of years apart, which makes sense, you know, as well. Some people want to just do it all at once.
And for us, we didn't have the house. We were renting. We were in a really digi house, and then suddenly it all just made sense because as selfish as it sounds, our laugh made it very clear that I was not to give up doing YouTube once we have kids, because it's like the only little bit of thing that's mine that I can say is something I do because of I don't get to do much. So we wanted to make sure we had the extra room and the space to do what we needed to do, as you know. But it's been weird, but
she just wants you out of the house, mate.
Yeah, I'm fine. I've got electricity. I've got internet. I'm sorted.
You start annoying her, she's like, get outside, go.
Yeah. How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, well, it's just been full of EAFC stuff. So I've done 6 episodes of, 3 of the career, 3 of the RTG, and it's only been out a week. So episode every day of one or the other. The RTG takes loads of time. I'm quite upset. Like I appreciate everybody from the podcast wanting to support the first episode, because the first episode I think has done a K now. It's doing well. I don't think that one's going to do well overall though, like, because now we're getting to the point where it's getting like 150 views sort of thing. It's falling off more than the career mode is, but I try and have a thing where I go, when I started, I started the career 9 years ago, 10, maybe 10 now, maybe it's 10 years since I've done a career. Yeah, I think FIFA 14 was my first career.
Yeah.
And I just think like if I had 150 viewers every week watching this,
you'd be over the moon.
Well happy.
Yeah.
I'm
weird.
not taking anything for granted. It's just because obviously when you're prioritizing content, you're looking at what is going to help the channel more as well. And but I'm enjoying doing the Evo thing. It's new for me. I'm enjoying doing it more. I'm enjoying doing the career, don't get me wrong, but I'm enjoying the Evo stuff even more. And I kind of wish it had the same
because it's different. I think it's really different.
It's new as well.
Yeah.
It's harder to build a narrative with it, sort of thing, because I'm not a pro player. I've actually probably worked out I'm better than I thought I was at FIFA, to be fair, because I am winning quite a lot in the rivals with worse teams. And I know the lower division sort of thing, but like I've got bloody Antonio and Vardy up front, and I'm going up against like Haaland and like trying to get past Van Dijk with him. That is tricky. Don't get me wrong.
You are playing.
Yeah, no,
what I've watched it so far, you are playing some really good stuff. And the thing when I went into the career mode thing, I have this stupid thing where, because I know you now, when it comes to cricket, I know what you look for in a player. So when I put my player in, and when I found him, he had 90 pace, I'm like, oh, got to give this James.
Yeah. Well, spoiler for the career, I've got him.
Oh,
I bought him.
He's so good.
It's called, that career should be out tonight, so it should be out. It's either the same day as this podcast, or it depends.
Yeah.
I've got to go shopping. It depends when I get back from shopping if I edit the career. But I bought him, and he's all right. Yeah, I feel like I've made an unnecessary purchase though, because I've kind of benched Gassama for him. and I was enjoying Gassama.
See, I sent Gassama on loan.
I've tried.
2 years.
That's my plan for next season. So this next episode of the career mode that comes out is literally half a season. We're bashing through the season so I can get into the second season. Because the first season is a rebuild, and then you push on. It's not like the old days where I played on the lower difficulties and just managed to smash all the way through the career.
I tell you something, I have been playing a lot of, and it's weird that I got really back into it, but I got really back into Farming Simulator all of a sudden because it's a slower pace.
You love your simulators, don't you?
I do. I've got a big thing about playing them, and I literally spent like 3 hours on the farm sim with a podcast on, just deforesting a forest to make a new thing. I know that's not something you should do, but I needed the room, I needed the land. But it was like, I looked at the phone, I was like, I've been doing this for 3 hours and I'm not bored yet. You would have thought you would have got bored a little bit bored, but I enjoy it. It's just something chilled out.
I have problems with games like that, mate, that just to eat your time. Like Civ 7 comes out in Feb. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be productive when that game comes out. I love Civilization, right?
And the new one. When Civ 7 comes out, I'm expecting you just to send me a message saying, I'm not slept. You want to do an episode on this day?
Next year's going to be a problem, though, because so much is coming out. Next year is ridiculous because you've got like Civ and stuff at the start of the year. Obviously, Assassin's Creed Shadows has now been pushed. Prime Civ time. The Gits. I was going to play that this winter. Now I'm going to end up trying to like balance the two. And I'm sorry, but Assassin's Creed isn't going to win over Civ for me.
Not a chance.
And then like at the end of the year, obviously you've got GTA. It's going to be massive next year.
I won't lie. I'm falling out of love with Ubisoft as a company. They're starting to do my head in.
I think they make good games. I just think like they're. I hope the delay means a good thing for it, sort of thing. But it's not ideal because it's probably going to end up coming close to the next Ghost of the Ghost of whatever they've just announced, the second Ghost game, which is basically a similar premise.
Guess what I tried to get and failed. I tried to get the 30th anniversary edition of the PS5 controller.
Did you fail? I'm glad I didn't even try now. Yeah.
Failed big time. As soon as I saw it was great, I was like, I want that. And then I tried and I just had no chance.
I wasn't going to bother with the console, but I wanted a controller, but I forgot about it, to be honest. I was like, I knew it's going to be like fighting. I couldn't even get the bloody Spider-Man controller, so I'm not even trying. I did buy this. Because my Starfield one LB button started sticking.
No!
And I was like, no. I know, so that's going on the shelf and never coming off now.
You got a Pro controller.
But Amazon had these on sale. Because I use it for content so much, a necessary work purchase was I've bought an Elite controller that shouldn't break as easily.
They are good, but they do break.
Apparently, but I don't think they break, but only when you're being aggressive with them, sort of thing. Like they're apparently more durable than a normal Xbox controller. And because I've gone through 2 Xbox controllers just by battering the LB button and the sprint button on FIFA.
What I do,
I thought I'd get this.
Is when you start to have the issue. Because how old is the Starfield controller?
Just out of warranty, believe it or not. I think it's about a month out.
So their warranty is really good. To be fair, their warranty is excellent. I had a problem with my Elite, and I get really.
It's only a year though, isn't it?
Yeah. I get really lucky on a lot of my warranties, or I get really lucky on what I find on eBay when it's new, because I find out a lot of people don't register the warranty, so I do.
Well, mine's not automatically. I bought it from Amazon, so it's automatically registered. Yeah. But it's one of those things where if I have any problems with it in the year, it's going back and I'm getting another one. But it was on sale. It was like 40 quid off, and I was like, it's the core. I don't need the attachments for it. The reason I actually did it is the same price as a normal controller if you buy one of the special editions. Yeah. So I was like, why would I not just get an Elite controller?
Makes sense.
And then I've got the options for back buttons if I decide to use some games that like could be useful to have extra buttons. So anyway, I'll put timestamps in this one because we have just waffled for quite a while. Yeah. Should we talk football?
Oh God, shall we talk football? Where did this come from?
I don't know, mate. Talk me through West Brom.
West Brom, that first half, they were shell-shocked. They weren't great. I was expecting them to come at us, all singing, all blazing, us having to have a lot of the attack soak up. And it wasn't the case at all. it was completely the opposite. I think we did well at nullifying their attack. I think we did well at trying to keep the ball. It was an excellent shot by Marvin Johnson, which isn't going to go down as a goal either. If you actually look at it, it probably was going wide, so own goal is right. I just feel for him on that one. But they do slowly start to get back into the game, and you're thinking, right, let's be smart here. Let's be clever.
Only in the second half, though.
First half, they did a little bit, but not as much as they did in the second half. But first half, there was a really good save by Beadle right near there. But Winder, death touch, header. And that ball by Femero, just to know that he was running into face. If you actually watch that goal from like behind him, the ball is amazing. Because it's like he's seen him on the turn and he's gone. Like, he'll be there.
Yeah.
That kind of relationship with players knowing where players are going is something we've lacked the start of this season. We have seen that's something we've lacked. We've lost the ball a lot. What really got me at this was the way Shea Charles just doesn't play like an 20-year-old. He plays like a 24, 25-year-old who's been playing this position.
He just plays like an experienced player, you know, a player that is calm on the ball. He knows his job. He's freed up Bannon, as Bannon was saying in his pre-match interview sort of thing. Like, Bannon's a great attacking player, but he's always had to come deep and do the defensive work. But Shea Charles has taken it. He's a holding midfielder that we have needed. He just does his job.
I think the thing that I got, Valerie in that game was fantastic. Going down, he defended well, but when he gets forward, he's really good. I think it's just taking him a little bit of time to get used to the system and back into the speed of English football. But second half, they made changes because they needed it, because they had nothing in midfield. Mowat coming on, ran their midfield is what they needed. An old habit started to creep in, where we would sit back, we would lose the momentum. Like, we got this game done at 2-0. We could have done with 3-0, really, at half time, and we could have had
that first half because you can start sitting back on 3, but I don't trust this Wednesday side to sit back on 2,
and for good reason. You look at their first goal. What the hell is Matt Lowe doing? How do you let him get in front of? Because he doesn't even really go for a header. He like chests it in. And
so was it Lowe on that? What? Because it was a different side for him, wasn't it?
Like, it was Matt Lowe.
Right. Okay.
I think it was Matt Lowe, but the thing is,
it's only because it was on the right hand side. I was questioning because I only saw it at a glance. I couldn't see the numbers, and I only saw it at a glance. And we just made a substitution, so I wasn't 100%. But whoever was letting that man get in front of him, it was atrocious. You can't do that. Him get round the side of you and be following him.
And the thing is, for me, when you look at how the reaction was after that as well, their heads went a little bit. Not as much as I first thought it was gonna, but the head did go. You could tell it like they had that whole thing going, oh, here we go again. We're going to do what we've done before. You could see it.
That was for their second goal, obviously.
Because when they scored their second goal, you saw, and we'll get into this later, the new set piece analyst throw his water bottle. He was fuming. Absolutely fuming. And the thing is, there's nothing Beadle could do about that. It was a very clever shot. You hit it low, go with the bounce, it's going to go over his head. And at that point, you're thinking, we've done it again. We've outplayed a team and we've blown it. But
we got done from a long throw as well. Yeah. Like, you're not clearing the ball, not doing your job. It's then getting, Marvin Johnson tried to score one of them earlier in the first half. He tried to hit the ball against the floor, but the keeper saved it. Whereas with Beadle, he could save it. He very nearly does save it.
He tried.
But because it bounces, you can't judge the flight of the ball until late. And because of that, he doesn't save it.
But you get the second goal. That composure by Bannon, which is normal for him. But
the third goal.
It's all right. That composure.
We're not used to scoring that many.
No, we're not. By Bannon to see it. And that's a relationship from last year. They'd had that a lot last year where Masaba would just go in, get the third or get a goal. And it was nice to see him finish something and not try and mess about with it. But it was a really good goal. I think the thing that got me with a lot of this game, you could tell this was a referee who's only done his second championship game of his career because there was a lot of cards going left, right, and centre for dissent and stuff.
Was it a penalty for in the last minutes of the game?
I'm going to put my hands up here.
Hit Smith's hand.
I say it probably was. I think we got away with one.
Yeah, same.
I think the one thing where we say we had no luck, that was our luck. Because
we've not had any luck all season. All last season, we haven't had a penalty in 2 seasons pretty much since the playoffs. No. All the decisions, I've been calling for VAR, that sort of thing. I would still take VAR, by the way, if it meant we finished 3-3 because we'd have got 6 points from the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Right? So it's one of those, it would balance out more. But yes, for once, we got the look of a ref not really seeing something. And it did hit Smith's hand. Smith's hand shouldn't have been over. I don't know what he was doing there.
Jumping jacks.
But I think, and I'll say what I've been saying West Brom fans say, yes, we should have had a penalty. Some of them have been saying there's no chance we'd have scored. We probably wouldn't have scored it because we've been woeful this game. We've just not, they said that they didn't play well. They didn't play how they usually do and they didn't set up right. So fair play to us. We didn't let them play in a lot of it. Typical Wednesday did creep in the second half, but unlike typical Wednesday, our head stayed up and we got the 3rd goal and we got the win. And that 3 points is massive, especially after the couple of games we've had with the shocking decisions.
And the game, and all the games today that were at the same time as ours, they were all the teams around us as well, which helped.
That is really useful.
One of the things that got me is that you can tell Ugbo still trying to get up to speed.
I don't think he was very good at all today. I think he should have been subbed off earlier, in my opinion. He was just a passenger.
He just felt like he was either trying too hard to get on the end of things or not trying hard enough. It was that mixed balance where you couldn't tell where it was.
Remember when he dispossessed the player on the press when the defender was playing out, and he actually managed to dispossess him, but it was almost as he was shocked he dispossesses him because he was sluggish. He lost the ball. He literally stopped a player from playing out from the back and should have been able to turn and take a shot. But he was like, "Whoa, I've actually done this," and it was like, I think you're sort of moving at half pace at the minute, Ugbo.
Our press was fantastic today.
It was
all
really
game though. It didn't really go off. Even when we went down to 2-1, they still tried to get that press going. It was really good.
I think keeping Smith is a masterpiece as well because he just comes on, and when you're changing the game and when we're looking to change the game, like Smith being on is very useful. He's the player that we need to change it up.
Yeah, and you also look at Masava when he came on. Stay on your feet. You didn't need to go down.
Yeah,
yeah.
For when he dived,
yeah,
it was a dive.
It was 100% a dive. I want penalties as much as the next person, but I don't want them like that.
No, because it was never a penalty, but also a case of he didn't need to give away the free kick that led to the set piece that then led to the long throw that led to the goal.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah,
right. That's where it comes in. And I was saying at the time, I was actually glad we didn't concede from the free kick because I expected us to concede from the free kick.
So did I.
But then the next passage of play, we conceded from the long ball, and that could have been 2 points dropped. I was saying at that point, let's just shore it up and take the point. Because we were both saying a point would be a massive result from this game, right? Because they're top of the league, they're playing well. Wednesday have had terrible luck recently, even though we've been playing all right, to be fair. We've been playing quite well in a lot of spells. We needed something from this game, and the fact we've got 3 points is just going to do a world of good for the players, get their heads back up, go into the next few fixtures. If you looked at the fixtures on paper, West Brom would be a game you would have guaranteed us to lose, and we've won it.
Yeah. Also, I really hope as soon as Windass got to the dressing room, we just messaged the West Brom mate going, big game player, eh? Question mark. Because it's such a good header.
It was fantastic. So let's talk about it. So
if you look at stats, it's even on
That's
shots.
what I'm about to do.
Oh, was it?
Go I want to talk about the possession first because Wednesday are usually dominant in possession. We actually had an answer for a team that wanted to dominate the ball. West Brom had 70% possession to our 30, right?
Yep.
Which is showing that we can get a result even when we're not dominant on the ball, which is usually our play style. We prefer the possession. We had an equal amount of shots, 12, but 5 of ours were on target as opposed to their 3. They weren't very clinical at all. Neither were, well, to be fair, we were, actually, if you think about the goals we scored today. We had 5 shots off target, they had 4. 2 block shots, they had 5 block shots, so our defence was doing its job. Their goalkeeper had to make 3 saves. Beadle only had to make 1. He actually had to make 2 if they had an offside one as well, but it wouldn't have counted. Really good, 2 really good saves as well. Aerial duels were both at 18. They committed 14 fouls to our 11, but I still think we ended up with more cards. I'm not sure. There was a lot of cards in this game.
6.
We had 5 corners to their 4. So
there were 6 yellows in this game. And a lot of it was for dissent. You know what? Set pieces, we actually looked a little bit better at defending both and how we got them. I think there was still some of the ones where there were for us where they were a bit flat and we didn't go for it. Defending it did look a little bit better. And we can talk about that later on in the show. But for me, if you're actually looking at this, when we saw the week we've had, the last 2 weeks, we all came into this game going, oh no, this is not what we need. The fact that we've managed at home as well, because I think home records are important. The last team to beat us was Leeds, and they were the one who took our home advantage form away from us. We've actually managed to get it right and get it good, and it's a good aspect to do. I will say something. There is still a part of me that with Danny Rule's play style, it still feels like next goal winner, you stay on the pitch, which I don't like, but that'll improve. The game management's got to get a little bit better. And when we do go down, not sit so deep. Because I don't want it to be games where next goal winner. I want it to be where we're a couple of goals up and maybe we conceded because of lack of concentration, but I want it to be the 1 goal, not 2.
Yeah, I think it's just... I know you hate the saying, but it's the process of everything, isn't it? It's the players getting used to it. It's coming off the miserable season last season. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs this season, but the West Brom game is definitely an up, and we can take a lot from that. So let's go into some of the games that have been played. At the time of recording this, there is actually quite a few going on because we were recording this earlier because the West Brom game's pretty much just finished. But games that have been played so far, Plymouth beat Luton Town 3-1. I told you they'd struggle.
Yep, you did.
From what I saw last week. And Wayne Rooney's Plymouth beat them.
And before
I don't know why they're struggling, by the way, because they seem to do everything right last year in setting themselves up for success this season.
And before fans go,
I'm not sure what's happening there.
Plymouth fans go all Wednesday fans wrote no. No, all Wednesday fans were very excited with how he started. And the problem is Wayne Rooney had a track record. Now he's got players up to speed. He's starting to actually show what he can do as a manager, which is fair play to him and Plymouth.
Yeah. Blackburn 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. So QPR again shows we shouldn't have dropped points really.
Yeah.
Derby County 2, Norwich City 3. So
first goal shouldn't have counted.
Quite a spectacle there. You what? Sorry.
First goal Norwich shouldn't have counted.
Yeah, Norwich again. We're talking about officiating. Norwich had a goal that went out of play. Basically, the ball went out of play before the ball came in. They didn't catch it. It was well out of play as well. Goes on to score, and they get an overall victory out of that. Before all the games are played, though, that has dragged us out of the relegation the relegation zone. We're 16th currently on 7 points, but Preston, Coventry, Millwall, who are all on 5 points, are still currently playing. So if Preston do get a result, if they win, I don't know. They take quite a few results. I think we'll stay out of the relegation zone because we are now above Luton on goal difference. I think it's actually goals scored we're above Luton on because of the 4-0 win. But below us, we've got Hull, Stoke, Millwall, Coventry, and then the relegation zone is Preston, Portsmouth, and Cardiff. West Brom remain at the top, but I bet you that's going to change today as Sunderland kick on. And Blackburn, obviously, are having a much better season this season. So
it's an interesting week this week as well when it comes to games. Talk about It's an interesting week this week when it comes to games.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So is it you this week?
Yep.
You're live this week, aren't you?
Yeah.
So Jake's got Bristol City over on his channel this week. On Wednesday, they will be that. And then we will be back with the podcast on Saturday to discuss both Bristol City and Coventry, which we'll get into a little bit later in more depth. But Danny Rule has basically announced that we've got 2 new coaches. He's confirmed the appointments of 2 new coaches. Yes, Ben King, who is the set-piece coach, and Andy Parslow are in situ at Middlewood Road and bring experience to S6. King joins from Accrington Stanley, where he held the position of academy coaching. He also enjoyed a range of roles in youth football with the likes of Watford, Coventry and Shrewsbury. King moves into the Owls first team as set-piece analyst, having previously worked in Walsall's senior analysis department. Parslow has been appointed as first team set-piece coach. So King's the analyst, Parslow is the coach, is he? That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Starting his career with Luton in the analysis department, Parslow went on to work into academy football with Brentford and Watford. Brentford and Watford aren't bad academies, to be fair at all. He switched to Wimbledon as first team coach before his most recent position with Swansea as first team set piece coach. Rull said, "I would like to welcome Ben and Andy to the club. I am very happy we can make such positive moves forward. Already I can see that Ben and Andy have worked well together this past couple of days. It is important that we keep on improving in both boxes. The data we have shows the improvements we have made over the last games, but at the end of the day, it's about results and points. Ben and Andy can help us help the club. I spoke with my coaches, Neil, Chris, Sasha, Henrik and Sal, as it is important that I have their opinions. Part of my job is not only scouting players, but it's also to have good people around me, good coaches with specialist expertise, experience, details and new ideas." Rull also confirmed the departure of first-team analyst Nicholas Lanware. He said, "Nicholas left the club yesterday. He has some private reasons and has to go back to Germany. This is sometimes is football. It is not perfect sometimes during the season. He said his goodbyes yesterday. It is sometimes good and bad news. We get 2 new guys and 1 guy left. These are the things I have to manage around the team, but everything goes in the right direction," end quote. So, yeah, hopefully everything's okay with himself having to go back to Germany.
When Danny in the press conference spoke about Nicholas, he did make a point saying, "This is someone I fought to get in. I was a bit gutted. This is somebody I really wanted to come in." And when you hear personal reasons, especially when it's somebody coming who's young, I'm wondering if it's been away from family. I wonder if it's something like that. I don't want to speculate too much, but thank you.
Yeah, let's not speculate. Let's move forward.
And hopefully we can move forward and find the right person. Danny did say to Alex Miller in the press conference that the person we are looking at to replace him is in England. So it's an Englishman coming in. But I think it's really good.
That's not necessarily it, unless he said he was an Englishman. He could just be working in England already.
He said, "Are we looking in Europe or thing?" I think he said he was an Englishman.
If he says he's an actual Englishman, then fair. But obviously, a lot of if he works in England doesn't necessarily make him.
Doesn't mean he's going to be English.
Pedants aside, yes. I think it's a good couple of additions. Set pieces have been woeful, so the fact we bring up a couple of people in there is really, really important for us. You know, it's going to be crucial for us going forward.
I also like that it's a lot of it to do. It's not just Danny going, "I want this person." He asks the coaches. He asks people what he wants to come in, who worked with you well before. Kind of thing. I think that helps a lot, because sometimes when you look at coaches and stuff, you automatically think it's the manager wants him because this is a manager pick. Where this actually feels like it's more of we all sit down together at the table and go, who's decent, who do you know, what can we bring in, how well do you know them? If that makes sense.
It's a collaborative and a collective affair, which is what you want. You want the club to have that harmony in that organisation. So it's all good things coming out of the club, and we just need to keep it going, really.
Yeah, we do.
Speculation topic. I think this has been taken down on the Star now, actually, but we collated it beforehand. This is from the Star, right? The one we got here.
No, this is a different one. This is a different. So originally, the Star had it that the thing was 20 million debt paid off for stadium. And the article gone. Like, I tried to find it to put it in the document. It gone. It disappeared.
So this is cited from SheffieldWednesday.news, but I do believe they're taking a lot from what the Star originally did as well, if I'm right in saying. But yeah, we'll cite it as we see it. And this is the article that follows. Finance expert discusses possible Sheffield Wednesday takeover after Dejphon Chansiri reveal. Sheffield Wednesday fans on social media have been discussing a potential takeover following the latest Dejphon Chansiri reveal. Earlier this week, it was revealed that Sheffield Wednesday, we've said Sheffield Wednesday owner enough, thank you, has settled a huge amount of debt held against Hillsborough. Chansiri has paid off £19 million worth of debt, leaving himself with little under $7 million to pay and clear the debt held against Wednesday Stadium. It comes after a summer in which Chansiri has earned praise from fans. He got Danny Rill signed down to a new contract and also facilitated a positive summer transfer window, with £3 million being sent on Ike Ugbo alone. Since the news about Chansiri settling so much debt, some fans have been speculating on social media that Chansiri may be preparing for a possible sale or possibly putting the club up for sale. Given his verdict on a possible takeover, football finance expert Adam Williams told Sheffield Wednesday News, quote, clearing the decks ahead of a takeover is a strategy some owners pursue if they want to get the best possible price. Debt is a liability that sits on your balance sheet. The fewer encumbrances for a potential buyer, the better. Look at it as if you are buying a house. You may want to fix the leaking roof before putting it on the market. Alternatively, you could pass the cost on to the next owner, which would reduce the fee you receive but also save you from spending money on the fix in it in the first place. It depends on what Chansiri's strategy is and whether he's looking for an exit route. Either way, it's a step forward for the club. Whilst it doesn't necessarily imply that he's looking to sell Wednesday, it is good housekeeping and reduces the interest burden, end quote. Right.
Now,
the reason we bring this topic up, as well as people speculating on it, go on, I'll add to it in a second. You say what you're going to say.
Is it that he paid it off, or is he just paying the interest off and then getting another mortgage on top of that? Because a lot of the time, people only pay the interest off the mortgage. They don't pay a huge chunk of the actual mortgage. So is this him just paying interest off, or is it actually debt being paid off?
It's also a case of like, I want to talk more about that. I think he needs to pay. If it's debt, it's debt. So it's not like some people that praising him, he needs to pay the debt that he's caused. You know, it's the Roy Keane, it's his job sort of thing. But it's also a case of like, there's been some signs that Chansiri might be quietly looking for an out anyway. If you look at some of the patterns, and I actually think one of the most recent patterns is the fact that he hates the old owl, right? He hates everything about that to do with Sheffield Wednesday. But he's doing so many fan things like that, the owl situation, that he's against just to try and balance the books, bring more money in by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Right? So would he be going against his principles or things he doesn't necessarily like in the club to just clear the money if he saw it as his baby still? Do you know what I mean? So there is sort of like, if he's loosening on some of those things, maybe he is looking for strategies where investors could come in, and I think he'd still want a piece, but I think it's coming to a point where he's not going to want full grasp eventually.
I think for me, the issue you've got is with anything that comes to Chansiri, we have to like think about it really smartly and how we say things, because at the end of the day, we've been burnt, but we've also had a really good bit where when we don't hear from him, things are going well. When we hear from him, things
I think
go
he's been
down.
fantastic this season, I've got to say, and I can't believe, like, I'll probably get some pelters for saying that, but I think he's done everything right this season.
He looks like he's on the verge of having a good start to this one, backing the manager, making sure the right people come in terms of coaches and stuff. Yes, ticket prices and shirt prices are still insane, but I think that football as a whole now.
Not putting out statements, just doing the bare minimum. There wasn't a high bar, Chansiri, but you bloody met it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, it's actually been quite nice not to actually do a video this year on any of those statements, because it was ridiculous last season.
Why do you think we jumped on this topic? We've not been able to speculate in ages because Chansiri has been quiet.
I think we have to see what happens with it. It could be that could it also be that he's just learning as a business owner of a football club now, and it's nothing to do with speculation. Maybe he just learned, I need to do this now a bit better. Who knows? But with Sheffield Wednesday,
he might not want the interest to pay. This could very simply be a case of he's paying off the interest, because if the interest gets too crazy, then you end up with more losses than you need. So he might as well pay it off now before the interest gets insane.
That's what I was thinking.
Because obviously the thing is, inflation is costing a lot as well at the minute. So interest rates are through the roof anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, there could be that, but it is worth mentioning because people have speculated, finance experts have been talking about it. Could he be balancing the books? We know that he was interested. we know that last season he was more open to hearing the reasonable offers. And I think a couple of chances came in again. I don't think we've had anybody seriously come in that weren't chances.
I don't think we've had anyone who seriously come in and actually sat down and shown him the money. And I think that's the thing he's waiting for.
If I'm going to speculate and take a wild punt, Jake, I think the Red Bull thing was for us, and then they got Leeds.
See, I actually think this is the same as well. My theory is we offered 5%, they offered 10%, and they went with the 10.
Because we were cleaning house and doing everything as a Red Bull strategy. So I felt like it was coming. And then it's really weird that Red Bull do come to Yorkshire, even though we've designed ourselves like a Red Bull club slowly over the past sort of 6 months, like we're building towards something. And then the last minute, a club that hasn't done that, the sponsor goes there. So I was like, I feel like something might have happened along those lines.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I think he is open to more, but it is nice to not be worrying about my football club so much at the minute. Long may it continue, and if a takeover does happen, let us know what you think about a potential takeover in the comments. Actually, it's not something we spoke about in a while, so it'd be interesting to know what you think. We also have Brentford in the cup.
Yeah, we do.
Worth mentioning that we've got drawn a really, really boring away draw to Brentford. We're going to lose, and we've not got a good trip.
It's boring, but at the same time, at least we're still in the cup, and it's a Prem team. It's not like we're having to play someone in our own league.
It's a Prem team, but it's like their ground's smaller than ours, Jake.
And how long have they been in the Prem and proven that they can stay there?
I don't care. I don't want to watch Brentford. I quite liked watching Brentford while they had Tony, but now I'm like, yeah, they're going to batter us. So they're going to batter us, and it's Brentford. If we're going to get battered, at least let it be a nice day out. Right?
No.
Anyway, we did appeal Deschamps Bernard's red card, by the way, and he got rejected.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
To be fair, it's nice that we went for the appeal, because I've actually seen a lot of other people go, oh, that might have not been a red. But when you see it, you just got that whole thing where I've hit that point of going, look, it's done, it's dusted, we move on. And today we managed to do it without him. And we've shown that we've been able to put people in the right position to go forward.
Famio, man,
he's having a stellar season. You called it.
Yeah. I did.
You did call it.
I will always wear that as a badge of honor as well, by the way, because I just took a wild punt. Because I just looked at the sort of I saw him in one preseason game, and I just saw something different in him. And I was like, I'm going to take a punt and say that this is going to continue, and it has. So there we go. Pat myself on the back any harder. Jesus Christ. Right. I saw something I didn't think I'd ever see on a Wednesday page. I'd have done it, by the way, EA, not EA, but Wednesday if you'd have asked me to do it. Would have been a laugh. The Owls reacting to their FC25 ratings. The fact that they did it. And they were realistic. They weren't expecting stupid stats because they realised they're in the championship.
I have a funny feeling though, that since we've now got an esports team, we're going more into this a lot more. And I think it's good because it shows listening a little bit more. We're not being, it does sound really bad when I say this, but we're not being boring when it comes to the content we're making now. We're actually making content that I want to watch, you want to watch, a generation below us want to watch, because this is what gets talked about. I would love them when FM come out for them to do one of the lads who does FM, who plays FM a lot, and go through it like Barry Bannon going, I always hire myself. Oh, I've not done well this year on the stats as well. I like this. It's clever. It's about time we did this. And I think now we got...
I will say though, You did have some grumpy old men in the comments go, don't do this game crap, focus on the football.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, for God's sake, they can't win.
I think if you don't lean into this side of it, then...
Yeah, you get left behind.
Yeah. And I think you see every club every year do this. Like, come on.
Yes.
We all remember when Vardy headbutted the A car because he hated it.
I just think it's... I think you could have done it with a lot of... You could have done it with all the squad. You could have got that sort of thing. But the club are listening, they're learning, and they're doing more things.
They do look better when it comes to the social media side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Moving on to the next games for Wednesday. So over on Punk's channel, it will be Wednesday versus Bristol, who have got a current record of 8 points, 14th in the championship. How are you feeling heading into Bristol City?
They're one of those clubs that tend to just draw a lot of games anyway. So I think if we come away with a draw, I'll be quite happy with that. Yep. There's not a lot really else to say. I think a draw, you come away from that game with a draw, I'm happy, I move on. They don't play until tomorrow. Well, so they don't play until Sunday.
Right, okay.
They got Swansea tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what result they get.
That'll be why it's a Wednesday game, not a Tuesday
that's
game.
exactly why it's a Wednesday game, because they're playing tomorrow. And I generally think if we can go into that with the same idea that we've done today, maybe less of the heart attack moments in it, I think we can have this week could turn a big corner before the international break. And I think it will be good to go into it.
I honestly think even going into like Coventry, who obviously they've not been great this season. They've fallen off a little bit. Like these next two fixtures could be us sort of stabilising, couldn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm optimistic, Jake.
It will be.
But I'm also hungry. So I'm not going to talk for too much longer because I'm very hungry because I've been streaming since the afternoon and I have not eaten. What were you going to say, mate?
If you look at games that are going on now, just so we know, it's Hull 1-1, Cardiff, Hull City, Cardiff 1-1, it's Leeds United 1, Coventry 0, it's Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 0, it's Millwall 1, Preston 0, which is a good result for us, I think.
Okay. It is. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this stage of the season, but the table is shaping.
Oxford, Burnley 0-0, Pompey, Sheffield United 0-0. Watford are beating Sunderland 1-0, which is something I didn't have on my bingo card so far this week.
Yeah, I think I've got a Sunderland player in my AFL fantasy as well. God's sake.
Oh, I know. And then we got Coventry, who could be interesting because it's always hit and miss when we play Coventry, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But again, they're not having a great season, so we'll see what happens. But have you got anything to add this week before we go off, my friend?
It's nice to have a weekend where we're talking positively and we go into it.
It's early in the weekend, Jake, as well. Yeah. We've got a whole weekend where we've just got to win. I can go
watch Premier League football for the rest of the weekend and be like, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go and record probably a lot more content over the weekend just because I don't have a break at the minute. In the early EAFC cycle, I become you, basically.
Yeah, you
do. Take care, guys, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.